Hey, good afternoon. This is Ramon Dees, 48 Days Marketing Coach, and today we're going to be talking about writing for the web made easy. I work with local business owners, some that are doing some things nationally, and I help business owners increase sales and revenue by 19.8% or more in as few as 48 days. What we do is we look for underutilized assets within their business and optimize those assets so that they can get a better return on investment for their marketing. So today we're going to be talking about how to write blog posts and articles to do list building and ultimately to boost sales with online marketing. All right, so let's jump right into it. What we want to do is start by beginning with the end in mind. And what I mean by that is just getting clear about what your goal is. Okay, when you're approaching writing blog posts or articles, uh, you should focus on either generating leads or maybe you want to get enrollments for a free download or for an event that you might be holding. And this could be a live event, it could be a virtual event. Or the third thing is maybe you want to boost sales by driving traffic to a product offer or to a buy button. Okay? Either one of those three goals is a great place to start when you're thinking about developing an article campaign or a blog post campaign. All right. So we're going to start with a 30,000 foot view of writing for the web. And I want to jump into a 100-year formula for writing profitable blog posts and articles. And the formula is called AIDA. If you've been around marketing for any length of time, you may be familiar with this already. But AIDA is an acronym for attention, interest, desire, and action. Okay? Now, starting with attention, your headline must grab the attention of your prospect or maybe even an existing customer. And you want to make them feel like reading this article, reading this blog post is the best use of their time at that moment. The best way to do this, to grab their attention, that is to enter the conversation that's already going on in their minds. All right? We'll get into that a little more later. This is, again, just a 30,000 foot view. The second thing that we want to do is generate interest or create, capture, and hold someone's interest. And a great way to do that is to tell stories that people can relate to. Your reader, your prospects, some of your customers are in pain. What you want to do is you want to feel their pain and articulate that pain back to them so that in their minds and hearts they feel like they're reading an article, they're reading a blog post of someone who understands their world. Okay? One of the greatest ways to do that is to agitate that discomfort just a little, and then we can proceed to tell them a story that appeals to their emotions. Okay, after capturing and holding their interest, we want to be able to arouse their desire. Okay, at this point, you're still telling a story, but now you want to start painting a pleasing picture in the mind of your readers where you're helping them to envision the pain and trouble free life they're so desperate for. Your words should help them feel the warmth that's radiating from the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, the solution that you have to provide, that is the end of the tunnel for them. And so there's light there, there's warmth, there's hope. And your words should articulate, should paint the picture in a way that they begin to feel hope. Okay, there needs to be an emotional transaction there. Desire speaks of an emotion. Your words can whisk them away into the world that they've only dreamed about until they met you. The fourth thing is action. What steps do they need to take to begin experiencing the preferred picture you just finished describing in your illustration? Okay, now we're going to zoom in a little bit, come in a little closer, and get to a 10,000 foot view. And we want to get into some of the proven principles that have been used to attract readers and boost conversion when you're writing for the web. So, again, still working within the framework of AIDA. No matter what your end goal is, you should always be solving a problem in your writing. One of the best ways to do that is to grab someone's attention and push their pain buttons. Okay? Now, here's where we start. Everything online starts with keyword research. We can't find anything online if we don't type in a keyword at Google, Yahoo, Bing, or any other search engine. Even Facebook in the search bar, you got to type a keyword in or a keyword phrase to find a friend. Okay. So what you want to do in getting started is use the free Google Keyword Tool, and you can just Google the phrase Keyword Tool to get access to that. Now, I would encourage you to go on and create an account with them so that you can save time, and you'll see when you, um, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to do that very quickly here. Let me just kind of shrink this window so you can see it all. So if I type keyword well, yeah, there you go. People are already typing that in. So when you pull this up, you're going to notice right away that capture right there. Okay. And that can be, it's just a time-saving matter. If you don't mind doing it, you can use the free one just as well, or you don't have to create an account, I should say. But if you create an account with them, and I'm talking about an AdWords account, doesn't cost you any money. You can create the account. Once you do so, and the way you would do that is, there you go, create AdWords account. Okay, I would just go through this process right here. Once you create that account, then what will happen is you will end up back at the keyword tool where we were just a few moments ago. But every time you log in, this will not be here. Not to mention, you do get access to additional data if you have an account as opposed to using the free version. Okay, and I won't go into all of those details right now. It's a pretty simple process. I do recommend take a few moments, create a free account. You get much more value by going that route. All right. Now, after or as you're beginning to start the research process, what you want to do is understand the prospect or maybe even your customers, understand their pain. Okay, what are they trying to fix? I spoke a few moments ago about crawling inside their mind and entering the conversation that's going on inside of their head. Consider your most frequently asked questions. This is another approach to knowing how to generate ideas for articles, blog posts, and what have you, or knowing how to enter the conversation that's in their head. You want to consider the frequently asked questions when consumers, prospects, and customers call you, or when they come into your store or place of business if you have a physical location. The questions that they ask are indicative of the problems they need to solve. What are the most challenging and frustrating problems people bring to your attention? Okay, this is where you're going to focus not so much on, they may not be the most frequently asked questions, but it's the pain behind the question. Okay, those questions have more value. For instance, and I'll use a service that I provide, search engine optimization. There are search engine optimization professionals everywhere, and numbers of people who provide that service. But a business owner that's a little more savvy, they may have a question that's, even after they have looked at 4 or 5 different websites and they've done their research, they've done some homework, but they've got a particular question that they just haven't been able to find an answer to. Okay, and that's the answer that once they receive it, that's the answer that's going to push them over the fence in terms of which service provider they're going to choose to buy from. Those are the most challenging and the frustrating problems that people may ask, maybe not as frequently, but it's a much more, it's a question that has a lot more value in terms of their decision making. Those are the things that you want to understand, and you want to approach your blog post writing and your article writing from that perspective. Because if you are the 1 in 10 service providers who's answering the questions that no one else is answering, then that says you're providing a value that's harder to find, and therefore you're in a position to charge higher rates because I'm sure that speaks for itself. The answers that you're providing are not as easily found, so therefore they're more valuable, and it provides a much greater value for your prospect or customer. Now, once you have their attention, you have to hold their interest because they're one click away from looking somewhere else if you're not scratching their itch. Okay, and that's just the nature of online marketing. Statistics say, the last time I looked at this, we've got anywhere from 3 to 8 seconds to grab someone's attention once they land on our website and make them feel like, hey, I'm in the right place. This person can help me, or this company can help me. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're telling stories that stir their emotions and show that you understand their pain. Okay? Also, you can share a testimonial of a raving fan of yours who had their problem, but they got relieved by following your direction. Okay? So just a couple more points there on how to hold interest. Now, if you have their interest, the next objective that you have is to arouse their desire. You do this by giving them a picture of the possibilities. A couple examples. First, you might ask them in your writing this question. Sir, ma'am, what if you didn't have to live with that problem of, and then fill in the blank. And again, this is where when you've already climbed inside the mind of your prospect or customer and you understand what's troubling them, you know what to fill in the blank with. Okay? So another example is, how much better off would you be if you could wave that problem goodbye? So again, as I was saying, as one who myself, we provide search engine optimization services. We get our clients' websites ranked on the first page of Google. So if I'm talking with a client, a prospective client whose website can't be found, and therefore they're not getting phone calls, I understand their problem. So I might ask the question, Mr. Johnson, let me ask you a question. If you could get your website from the 8th or 9th page of Google up to page 1, thereby making your phone ring more so that you can set more appointments and boost sales, what kind of a difference would that make in your life? See, that kind of question is what's going to move your prospect or your customer in the direction that they want to go in. And if you've got a solution that can help them, then you actually owe it to them to show them how you can help them so that they can receive a benefit by your service and you can receive the benefit of increased sales and revenue when they compensate you for those services. Okay? Now, the final step is pretty easy if we've done well up to this point. Calling people to action. Okay? This is earned. The call to act, the ability, the right. I have to earn the right to call you, to ask you to take action. And if you've completed the previous steps effectively, then you're in pretty good shape to do that. Okay? So what you want to do before calling someone to action is you want to consider the following. Have you addressed their problem? The second thing is, can you make a unique promise in terms of what your product or service will deliver? The third thing is, are you providing any social proof? You know, if you are familiar today with what's called reputation, or your online reputation, okay, that makes all the difference in the world when someone is considering whether or not they're going to do business with you. Hadn't planned to do this, but really quickly, I'm just going to, again, go back to Chrome. And just as an example, I'm going to do there, right there at the top, Atlanta Plumbing Company. When I talk about reputation, we see. So 2 Google reviews, 1 Google review. Now this is interesting. Let me do another. Okay. Here's what I wanted to point out. That particular search just didn't have any scores. But right away, let me ask you a question. If you were looking for having some dental work done, okay, cosmetic dentist, Atlanta, I'm just outside of Atlanta, and you had an opportunity to choose just among the providers right here, okay, you've got one with a score of 29 out of 30, that's their reputation, 41 reviews. You've got someone with a 30 out of 30, and then you've got someone with a 24 out of 30, and now 25 out of 30. Which one of these, just looking at their reputation, would you be most comfortable doing business with? Okay, this is what's called social proof. Now, me personally, I would immediately jump into this right here where there's a score of 30 out of 30. So if I click in there and I see excellent, excellent, excellent. Wow, this is interesting. I hate going to the dentist, but I was forced to seek out a dentist because I was in pain. Needing a root canal. I did a search and came up with Atlanta Dental Spa. My experience was absolutely top notch, and the folks at Atlanta Dental Spa listened, and I put my worst fears to rest. Okay, that's exactly what I'm referring to. They were in pain. People make decisions because they're in pain. So, um, reputation is everything, and that's social proof. Okay, I just wanted to point out a very real world example of what social proof looks like. Okay, it's also a service we provide. We assist our clients to get positive reviews and to create 5-star reputations within their business, both on and offline. Okay, now, is there a risk reversal component in place? Are you telling your clients, hey, here's what we'll provide, otherwise if we fail, we'll replace, we'll redo, we'll refund? Okay, 3 options in terms of risk reversal. You make a promise. If for some reason you're unable to deliver on that promise, you can guarantee that you will replace, you will refund, or you will redo at no additional cost. Okay. Now, some additional best practices. When you're writing blog posts and articles, be entertaining when you can. Don't let it bog you down, but because I mean, hey, we're all not the funniest guy or gal on our blog. Some people it comes more natural than others, but you do want to, when you can, provide a little comic relief, keep it light, uh, help make someone laugh. Everyone enjoys to laugh, and I learned some years ago when I was getting sales training as an employee that can, uh, if you're sitting with a prospective customer and you can help them to laugh, then oftentimes that shows that there's a warmth of rapport, which means you're moving closer to making the sale. Okay, and that's what you want, even in your writing. Now, you want to write on a 5th grade reading level to maximize your reader's ability to comprehend. Remember the KISS, keep it simple. Keep it simple. We'll just leave it at that. Keep it simple principle. Um, not everyone who's going to be reading your articles or blog posts, they may not be the most, they may not do the best with big words. I'll say it that way. Some business owners are very, very well educated. Others are very charismatic, great team builders. They may or may not have a college, or excuse me, high school diploma. I know several uh, business owners that are very successful that they just didn't do that well in school, but they understand relationship building, they understand how to build rapport, they understand how to sell, and they're good leaders. They have great people skills. But if you put an article in front of them with big words, it might be a turnoff. So this is why you want to keep your writing on a really basic level. And keep your blog posts and articles between 350 and 500 words when possible. If necessary, I encourage you to break longer topics up into a 2 to 3 part series to keep them readable. Everyone is pressed for time nowadays, and it definitely makes sense to give them valuable information in bite-sized chunks. Okay. Now, identify your primary keyword phrase and insert it into your articles with a keyword density of 1 to 2.5%. And simply put, use your keyword for at least one time for every 100 words of content in your post or article. Okay. Your blog post should have the following: one H1 tag, one H2 tag, one H3 tag, and one image with an alt tag behind the image. Okay, and the alt tag is the primary keyword that you're building your article around. Your post should also have links to your internal website pages. Now, if you're writing in WordPress, which all of the writing that I do in my websites and websites that I build for my clients are in WordPress because it's an extremely user-friendly and intuitive content management system. The H1, H2, and H3 tags are pretty easy to find. I just pulled a screenshot from an article I wrote probably over a year ago. But you're looking in the admin section of my website, 48 Days Marketing Coach, and I've actually added a plugin called Tiny MCE. Okay, the basic editor WYSIWYG won't look like this, but it's a free plugin. But once you add that plugin, if it's not already in your site, then you go to the paragraph drop down, and when you click that, you see H1, H2, and H3. Now, if your blog is, again, assuming you're using WordPress, if your blog is a WordPress blog, typically your title is an H1 tag, okay? Which means you just need to include an H2, an H2 and an H3 somewhere throughout your post. So typically what I'll do is I will have somewhere right toward the middle of my blog post a subtitle, make it an H2. The very last sentence of my post oftentimes is the H3 tag. And in each one, so in your H1 in your title, in your H2 tag, and in your H3 tag, you want your keyword to be placed in there. Now, you might be able to tell if you just kind of take a quick look at this, the keyword in this article, this blog post, is small business marketing. So it's in the H1 tag. I can't really scroll through in the screenshot and show you, I don't even remember if I put the H2 or 3 in this one. But that's why I also have it in the caption of the photo, small business marketing again, okay? And you can see the keyword density is 1.15. Now, this is a plugin called SEOpressor, okay, and it gives you a score. It is one of the best plugins on the market for assisting you to write optimized blog posts within WordPress. It's a top-notch piece of software. It's a little on the pricey side, but if you just got one website, I think you can get it for about $67, but it's well worth the investment. If you've got multiple websites, you can get it for $97. So there you have it. But great resource for that. So, and let's see, I just want to make sure here. Links to your internal website pages. So really quickly, I'll just kind of talk about this. So this is a blog post about, again, is your small business marketing plan up to date? If I were selling small business marketing plans, or if I were promoting, I should say, on my website, small business marketing plans, if that's a service that I'm selling, then I would likely have a page that's dedicated to that service on my website. Well, this is a post. So what I would do is somewhere in the post, I'm going to have that word, small business marketing. I'm going to create a hyperlink, and this drop down is hiding the hyperlink icon. Oh no, there it is right there. It's kind of grayed out here because it's a screenshot. But I would put small business marketing in that article somewhere, and then I would click here, create a link. So I would link from that keyword, small business marketing, in the post. I would link to the page on my website. Okay, that linking from the post to the page helps your SEO. Okay, in short. Now, success is in the details. Every blog post, every article should have 3 sections, and it's pretty basic. Your opening is your headline, the body, and then the closing, or the call to action. Now, headlines are 50 to 80% of your success when writing a blog post or an article. Okay, great headlines grab the attention of your prospect, your customer, and it persuades them to invest the time they normally would not. Everyone is busy. We're all had days, weeks, and some more than others, where we just felt like, hey, I just don't have enough time to get it all done. Okay, so back in the days when newspapers were more popular, if you were, just kind of flipping pages, typically what we do is we look at the headlines and determine if I'm going to read the article. No one goes through a newspaper and reads every article. We scan headlines. Headlines is how you grab the attention of your prospective readers when they're on another website. Could be a article site. They could be on Facebook, LinkedIn. They could be looking at photos on Pinterest. And it's the combination of those two that are going to work well. Photos and headlines. But headlines are by far the most important because they deliver the story. Great headlines make promises and are benefit rich. Great headlines are enough to make a prospect pick up the phone and call for more information if they didn't read anything else. Okay, so uh, just to say that another way, if you're reading through a magazine and if the only thing you saw in an advertisement was a headline and a 1-800 number, the proof of whether or not a headline is effective is whether or not you would pick up the phone and dial that 1-800 number if all you read was the headline. Okay? Let me give you a really specific example. Let's say someone who has corns on their feet. Okay? It can be a little unsightly, just not unattractive. If that person is reading a magazine, and this is a real ad for years that has worked very well. And let's say they saw an ad, and there might have been a picture of a foot with some corns. But if that person has corns, the picture doesn't really say a lot because they can look at the picture of a foot with corns and they just think, my corns are either smaller than those or bigger than those. But the headline is the meat of the ad because imagine this: the headline says, "Corns gone in 5 days, guaranteed." Short, to the point, and then there's a toll-free number. Corns gone in 5 days, guaranteed. That's 6 words. 6 words and a toll-free number. That's an effective headline. Okay? For someone who's really got that as a problem and they're looking for a solution, a lot of people are going to pick up the phone and call to get more information. Now, the goal of your first paragraph is to deliver on what you promised in your headline. After reading your first paragraph, your reader, I should be salivating over the second paragraph. Okay? The second paragraph whets my appetite for the third. And you want to hold your reader's interest by telling a story that paints a pleasing picture. So again, just kind of reiterating some points that we've already covered, but this should really be coming together by now in terms of just you seeing the big picture of article and blog post writing. Okay, if you've zeroed in on their pain, you understand what problem they want to eliminate, you've come up with a really good headline, and then you've developed that headline into 3 points: the opening, the body, and the close. So now you're telling a story that holds their interest by painting a pleasing picture because you've got their interest. You got their interest with the headline. You told the story. Now you're arousing the desire for what your reader wants toward the end of your article or your blog post. Okay? So the next thing you want to do is you want to close with a clear CTA, call to action. Okay? And all this does, a good call to action, it just tells your reader exactly what to do and what to expect as they move forward. Here are a few examples of good calls to action. Opt in for our free report by clicking here. Register for our upcoming event by picking up the phone and giving us a call or clicking this link. Click the buy button to save $15 or 15% on this limited time offer. Ask us a question so we know how to better serve you. Okay? Maybe, and that's really a great way to build interaction. If you are writing an informative article and you just want feedback from your audience, then provide great information and tell them. Tell them that you want them to ask you a question so that you can know how to better serve them. So you might, if I wrote an article on 5 ways that you can drive targeted traffic to your website, and then at the end, I might say, hey, I trust this information has been good for you. If you're looking for additional ways to drive traffic to your website, tell me what you'd like to know, ask me a question, or, just provide some kind of feedback at the end there so that that individual now can give you some feedback. You can begin a conversation and build from there. You might, heck, if a couple hundred people read your article, your blog post, even if only 5 people provide a response, if any one of those 5 ask a question or come from an angle that you haven't thought of, it could very well be an angle that's in the heart and mind of another couple hundred readers, but they either just didn't ask, they didn't read your first article, And if you answer now that question, you respond to what that individual has set before you, you can add, in some cases, immense value to what your audience is looking for. All right. Now, once you've got your article or your blog post written, you want to polish it off. And a great way to do that, Ryan Healy is an A-class copywriter. I just want to point you in the direction of a free 39-point copywriting checklist that he's put together. I've got it, and I've used it when writing articles before, but it's absolutely free. You really can't go wrong using it. I mean, you'll end up on his list. You'll get some great insights, business building information. He's a really solid guy. I like him a lot. I'm on his list. So I encourage you, go to his website, ryanhealy.com, plug in your email address and get that 39-point copywriting checklist and use that every time you write a blog post. I'm telling you, with the combination of this video that I put together and that checklist, you are going to really bump up your writing skills for the web significantly, and position yourself to build a list faster, easier, and generate additional sales and revenue from what you're doing in your online marketing efforts. When promoting your blog posts and articles, okay, now so you've written it, you've polished it off, you've gotten it where you want it to be, you want to ping your content, and pingler.com is a great free resource where you can go, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just follow their directions. I'm sure there's probably a YouTube video out there like this video that will show you how to utilize Pingler. Also want to encourage you to integrate an autoresponder for list building. The last slide of this training, you're going to see a couple links for a couple resources, one of which is the autoresponder service that I use, which is called Aweber. I've been using them, gosh, over 4 years. It's a great service. One of the most intuitive services. I've used Aweber, I've used Constant Contact, I've used MailChimp, and I've also used GetResponse recently. Aweber is still at the top of the list for me. Those are all great services. It depends on what you have a preference for, and I still like Aweber probably most out of those that I've mentioned. In promoting your blog posts and articles, ask for feedback. I kind of just touched on that a little toward the end, but drop a link to a blog post in Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, or maybe a picture from your post into Pinterest, and ask for feedback. Ask people to let you know, how did this help you? What else would you like me to write about? Give me your thoughts. Write about something controversial. People will definitely give you some feedback on that regard. Post your articles in your blog post to social bookmarking sites like Dig and StumbleUpon. Those are great ways to drive more traffic to your site. And you can also Google for additional ideas on blog promotion. So if you just pulled up Google and you typed in the phrase, how to promote my blog, you're going to find a wealth of resources that some will complement what you're getting here in this video today. Some will be very different, somewhat the same, but there's a lot more out there for you if you're looking for more after you complete this basic training. Okay. So I encourage you, follow these instructions, develop the habit of writing for the web, and write for people first, search engine second. Okay, that's important. So we gave you some guidelines in terms of keyword density. You don't want to do any keyword stuffing. You want to identify keywords that really speak to what your prospects and customers are looking for based on the keyword research that you do. And keep this in mind. I didn't say this on that slide, but you want to stick to definitely two-word. You don't want to do keyword phrases or keywords where there's just one keyword. 2 keywords, you can use those. I prefer 3-word phrases and 4-word phrases. Why? Those tend to be people who are closer to a buying mindset, and those articles and posts are going to be easier to rank for. Okay, so again, when you're doing keyword research, you want to focus primarily on keywords that are 3 words or 4-word phrases as opposed to just a 2-word phrase. And I'm going to just tack that on right here toward the end to really bring some clarity to it. Just thinking of a service here. We'll go back with plumber. Yeah, we'll just do plumber. Now, okay, so plumber, you can see it's a high competition keyword, and there are 4 million searches globally. That's in the U.S. That's in the world. 2.2 million local monthly searches, and these numbers are an average number of searches over the last 12 months. Okay. Atlanta plumbers, much better than just plumbers. Plumbers Portland, Oregon, that's like plumbers Atlanta, Georgia. You notice it drops all the way down to 2,400. Now there, Atlanta's a bigger area, so 9,900 a month. Um, Here's a specific company people are looking for. I want to see if I can find. Smell a good plumber. That's interesting. Plumber Atlanta, GA, 1,600. Okay. Whereas Plumber Atlanta, 9,900. Now, here we go. Here's a good one. Okay, that's a prime example of what I mean, and that example just popped in my head. So we can see a dentist, 13,600,000 searches a month globally, 7.4 million locally, continental U.S. Okay. Dentist Atlanta, 27,100, but pediatric dentist Atlanta, 1,000. This person right here, they want a dentist, yes they do, but they want a dentist in a certain locale, and they want a dentist that specializes in children's dentistry. You notice this is has high competition. These two are only medium. Higher number of searches, higher competition around this search. This keyword, those are two great keywords to build an article or a post around. I would not do a post or an article around the word dentist. Okay, so hope that makes sense. If you just add that onto what we talked about previously, you're going to be in great shape. Now, last slide in terms of resources, Aweber Autoresponder. Here's the service that I utilize and have been utilizing for some time. And SEO Pressor. Again, if you decide you want to install that on your site, it's a great resource. I encourage you. As you can see, as you saw in that screenshot where it gave the keyword density, that was the SEO Pressor plugin on my site. And there, in full disclosure, I will receive affiliate commissions if you decide to make a purchase from either one of those links above. You can click either the link here, or you can click the images. Both will take you to the same place. Okay. So, would love to, again, provide additional assistance if you need it. Just reach out at 48daysmarketingcoach.com/contact us. We can set an appointment for 10 or 15 minutes to answer any questions that this may not have answered for you. And we can talk about how we might assist if you need help generating content. We've got content writers for all industries that can assist with that. If you need assistance with getting your content distributed, if you need assistance with getting your website optimized so that you can be found on page 1 of Google, or if you need to improve your reputation online, those are all things that we can assist you with. Go to 48daysmarketingcoach.com/contact us, and typically we'll get back in touch with you within 48 hours maximum. Would love to set an appointment so that we can talk further and see how we can assist you to boost sales and revenue in your business. All right. Thanks so much, and make it a great 2013.